Good morning from Dalgety Parish Church. Possibly from an angle that you don't often see. I'm standing on the chancel, and of course the chancel is reserved for clergy and for those training in ministry and those who are especially invited up. No one else is possibly allowed to take these steps up from the main part of the church into this area to see a view from up here. That is certainly not true. Everyone's welcome wherever they want to be in the church. And if you want on a Sunday morning to come and sit in these wonderful big blue seats, feel free. Why not come up and join us up here? There's always at least one free. And if one of us standing up, you can get the other spare one and we'll just have to go and sit somewhere else. But there is nowhere in our church that is segregated for one particular group or another. But as I say, people don't often see the church from this aspect. So I thought I'd come and just say, this is what church looks like. And what church looks like to you is probably not what church looks like to other people. I don't mean just the building and just what's here. We've got the flowers, we've got the lectern, got lots of things that are here. And if we turn around, although we're set up for a Bible study, we have the area where people generally come in and sit. And of course people sit facing towards where I'm filming from and don't therefore see our glorious, wonderful stained glass window week by week and the colours on the ceiling. It's a strange view sometimes people have of what church is. So apart from a building, what is church? I'm going to try and tell you a little bit about what it is and maybe a little bit about what it isn't. Church is about the people who come. That's really the bottom line. Because even though some will say that church is all for worshipping God, unless people come, that worship doesn't happen. And so people who come worship in slightly different ways because they come from different pasts and from different weeks and from different days and different families. So the church is really about the people who walk through these doors and the doors next door, of course, the people who come in. The church is for, well, that's a different question again. Who is the church for? In one aspect, we can say the church is for whoever wants to come and sit in these chairs, whoever wants to come and sit in these seats. We are a church that are open to all. We come from different thoughts about who God is, what God is, why God is. We come with different feelings about how we are meant to worship and what worship actually means. But whoever walks through these doors can come and sit in one of these seats, or indeed, of course, if they really want to, one of these, and come and join us. What is church? We keep coming back to that question. Church is what we make it and what we decide it should be. Now, that decision is based on our understanding of God and what God is helping us to do, asking us to do, inviting us to do. It depends on our understanding of what this world is all about. I believe God made this world, all of it, every single creature, every single part. And therefore, for me, the church is there to care for that creation. And we, as a congregation and as a community, are part of that creation. Therefore, we care for one another. The whole world is part of that creation, which is why we have our link with Nkongolweni in Malawi. It's why we have our harvest and we bring food for Frontline Fife and we gather in money for Christian aid, for all sorts of charities that require help. That's why these flowers will be taken out to people who are, well, maybe just a bit sad, maybe just needing to know that they are being remembered. All sorts of things that we have in our church that remind us of what church is. At the very core of church is God. God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit. The very core of what we do and why we keep this place running and going is because we believe that God has called us to look after one another and to make this world the best it can be. We do that as people come through these doors to worship, of course, but we don't stay in this building. Our faith, our worship, our witness and our service are not only about what we do in this building. It's about the flowers that are taken out, about the harvest festivals that we celebrate and the money that we raise for charities. It's also about strange and wonderful things that happen in this church, but they're not so strange and just as wonderful when you realise what they're actually all about. For example, we say that jars say what they are. Now this would seem to be some sort of sauce for your dinner, and yet when we look at it, it looks more like perhaps gravy granules, perhaps. Maybe it is a sauce for your dinner. But actually what it is, if you look at the label, is coffee. Best before 2nd, that's February 23. So still well within date. But the reason it's in that jar particularly is because we have large catering jars that we're not going to be able to get through for various reasons, COVID being one of them. But we've decided that we will decant the catering-sized tubs of our fair trade coffee into jars and ask people to come and, to take one, basically. And if they want to give a donation, they can. And the donation goes to Mamie Martin Fund, which helps girls in Africa go to school. So we use the fair trade coffee, that's part of our congregation. We try and make the best of it and use it up before its sell-by date and make sure that everything is used. That's fair trade and eco. We try to raise money for other people in other places that are not able to have as much as we have, including education, Mamie Martin Fund. And that's just one aspect of church. Church is not a building. Church is not just the bricks and mortar, and we have literal bricks in our church. The church is not just about who comes to stand in a pulpit or sit on those chairs and be able to speak to people and hopefully to help us learn together. The church is much more. It's about community that we live in. It's about the community that we gather in to worship. It's about witnessing to the God who loves each and every one. And it's about serving and trying to make this world the best it possibly can be for everyone. Church is empty. Does that mean that nothing's happening? It certainly means that the people who would normally be in these seats on a Sunday morning are out in the world, out in the community, trying to make the best of where they are, of the people that they are with. We of course do have a few right through in the rooms 1 and 2 in the kitchen at the moment, organising the Cafe Connect and organising food and company and chat and a place, a warm, safe place to be. So come along if you can. What's the church? Wow. It takes more than a few minutes on Facebook Live to tell you, to explain to you. Much easier to come and find out. Much easier to come and mingle with the people who are church. And much easier then to realise that empty churches during the week, empty worship space on a Tuesday morning until Bible study arrive, doesn't mean that nothing's happening. It means that we've done exactly what Jesus asked us to do, is to go out into the world and take the gospel. From this angle and from this point of view of church, looking out Sunday by Sunday to a congregation, I get to see that glorious window at the front. But I also get to see above the door a sign that says, it says fire exit really, in case of emergency leave by this door. But maybe it's also Jesus' instruction to us through the gospel. You're not to stay here. You have to leave. Go out into the world. Take me with you. Take my message with you. And see what this world can become when the church is active, not only inside the building, but outside in the community and the world. Wherever you are, and whatever your faith or none today, brighten up your part of the world for yourself and for others. Give a smile, give a cheer, give a wave. Help somebody feel better. Whether it's with your presence, with the gift of flowers, with the gift of accepting, or with the gift of simply letting somebody know they are remembered. Enjoy your day, wherever you are, and God bless.